Hello everyone, I am Piyush Goyal and I welcome you to Voxcel's YouTube channel. In this video, we're gonna discuss about Cambridge IELTS Academic Book 20th Test 2nd and its reading passage 2. So in the previous video, we have discussed about reading passage 1 and in this we're gonna discuss about reading passage 2. So let's start. So this passage we will do is we will read the title of the passage. It will help us to give some sort of idea. It will help us to give some sort of idea about the passage, what kind of information may or may not read in the passage. So the title says procrastination. So procrastination is when you procrastinate, meaning to say you delay your work, the work you were supposed to do, you do not do that work and you put off for that work for later time period. So a psychologist explains why we put off important tasks and how we can break this habit. So it's gonna be about this particular habit of people, why they procrastinate and how can we break this habit, how can we be more active and complete our work on time. So it's gonna be a bit of educational also. So if you have the habit of procrastination, if you are one of those guys who procrastinate, so you should like be very attentive while reading this passage. It can help you to know why we procrastinate or what can we do to stop it. Okay. Now what we will do is we will not read our passages just yet. We will go straight to the questions and read the questions. So let's see what kind of questions we have. Questions 14 to 16. So here we have reading passage 2 has 6 paragraphs and this is paragraph contains information question. So in front of each question we have to write letters ranging from A to F. So this is very important to note. You may use any letter more than once, meaning to say, for example, let's just say 14th question, what you will have is you will have to find these statements in paragraphs. So in one paragraph there may be two statements, like A option can be the answer of 14th and 16th or 14th and 15th or 15th or 16th. I am not saying it is the answer, but it can be because of this information. So when you have this information, like you may use any letter more than once, so may means it is possible, but it is not a surety that you will have to do this. There is no other way. But in my experience, if it is written, then it's 99.9999% sure that a letter will be repeated, but 0.0000001% times a letter may not be repeated. Okay, so this while doing these kind of questions, I will advise you to look at other sets also, because it doesn't, like we have 6 paragraphs and there are only 3 questions, so it means at least 3 paragraphs do not contain any information, so they will not be our answer. Or maybe there may be 4 or 5 paragraphs that do not, 4 paragraphs, 5 I don't think so. One option will be answer of all 3. There may be even 4 paragraphs that will have no answers. So for that you should read these questions or first question, or even if there you cannot find any locator word in the first question, read 1 or 2 questions so that you can find the locator word. So our second set of question, here we have to write 1 word only. Okay, and for our third set of questions we have to write, okay, so we have 2 similar sets of questions. For here we need to find comparisons between employees. Let me use this one. So we have to use comparison between employees. So wherever the information about employees is given, we will have this, and here is recommendation or getting out of cycle of procrastination by writer. So wherever the recommendation is given, our answer will be there. So employees who procrastinate and those who don't. Okay, so what we're going to do is first we're going to read all these questions and try to find the difference between these options, and then we'll read one or two questions of this. First, 14th question. Mention of false assumptions about why people procrastinate. So in whatever paragraph there is a mention of false assumption about the reason people procrastinate, we will mark that as our answer. So let me adjust it a bit here. Okay, so what is this false assumption? Meaning to say that assumption which is not true, which is not rooted in reality. People believe so, but scientifically or maybe other, because it is a psychologist that is explaining something, so it may be related backed by science. So basically, maybe it is not backed by science, but it is just common belief of people. So wherever there is mention of such kind of information, we will write that paragraph in front of it. 15th, reference to the realization that others also procrastinate. So in whatever paragraph we realize that it is not only an individual problem, it is a common problem in human beings, that not only I, as in sense of one person, not only I procrastinate, other peoples also do this particular thing. 16th, neurological evidence of a link between procrastination and emotion. So we have to we have to find neurological evidence. So neurological evidence, basically evidence related to brain. So brain or nerves. In this particular sense, I believe it should be about brain, maybe about nerves. So something about brain or nervous system, of link between procrastination and emotion. So if in whatever paragraph there is link between procrastination and our emotions like happy, sad, whatever the emotion is, we will mark that paragraph. All three questions are clear, I hope. So what we will do now is we will read this particular question. Many people think that procrastination is the result of. So a lot of people think that procrastination is a result of, basically it is a result of something. We have to find what product is the procrastination result of. So there is no any particular locator word that I can just identify quickly. So what I will do is I will read one more, two sentences more. If I can't find another word, so we will not read further than that. Others believe it is to be result of inability to organize time effectively. So yes, inability to organize time effectively just means poor time management skills. So wherever there is something about time management, so we know our answer will be there. So for these questions, I have to find out comparisons between employees. So wherever there is mention of workers, employees, why some employees procrastinate and others don't. So I will read these questions only then. And the best thing about this is that you will find the answer to question number 25 and 26 probably after 23-24, but it is not true that, or it is not 100% guarantee that the answers of 25 and 26 will always be after 23 and 24. It may be a possible scenario that these answers may be a bit apart from each other and you can find one of the two answers in between these two answers. So we'll see, we'll deal with them later. So now what we will do is we will read our first paragraph. Procrastination is the habit of delaying necessary tasks. Okay, just one second. Procrastination is the habit of delaying necessary tasks, usually by focusing on less urgent more enjoyable and easier activities instead. So what is procrastination? It is the habit of delaying necessary tasks by focusing on less urgent, more enjoyable and easier activities instead. We all do we all do it from time to time. We might be composing a message to a friend who we have to let down, or putting together an important report for college or work. We are doing our best to avoid the job at hand, but deep down we know that we should be getting on with it. Unfortunately, berating ourselves won't stop us procrastinating again. In fact, it is one of the worst things we can do. This matters because, as my research shows, procrastination doesn't just waste time, but it is actually linked to other problems too. Okay, so in this paragraph, the writer has told us about what procrastination is, and uh, what we should not do if we procrastinate. Okay, so first question, mention of false assumption. No, there is no mention of false assumptions about why we procrastinate. There are like solid reasons. There is nothing mentioned like it is false assumption, or this belief is not backed by science. So this is the belief of writer. So there is no mention of that. 15th question, reference to the realization that others also procrastinate. So there is nothing about, so you should know that others also do this. So there is only, this is in this paragraph, there is only mention of why people procrastinate, and what not to do when you procrastinate, and what this links to. Neurological evidence, there is nothing about you can say nervous system, brain, something like that, so it cannot be our answer. Okay, there is nothing about, many people think this is just opinion of the writer, so this is not our answer. There is nothing about employees or getting out of this particular cycle. So A, we do not have any answers in A. Moving on to B. Contrary to popular belief, procrastination is not due to laziness or poor time management. So if you are like careful enough, you can easily tell me, like we have, I believe, two answers in this particular sentence. Okay, out of 14, 15 and 16, do you think there is any answer in this particular sentence? Yes, 14th. Why? Because it is written here, contrary to popular belief, procrastination is not due to laziness or poor time management. So scientific studies suggest procrastination is in fact caused by poor mood management. So this is not a true belief. This is like, well, this is a popular belief, but it is not true because scientific studies show something else. So this is our 14th question, and let me mark with green also. So this is our question number 14th. So here we know that our answer should be B. I hope it is clear. Moving. Okay, so poor time management, I guess here it is inability to organize time. So there are two opinions. One is saying this, another is saying poor time management. So if you have to put in the answer, what answer do you think should come here? Yes, I'll give you just few seconds more. Very good. The answer that should be here is laziness. Oh, sorry about that. I have to write it again. I hope it is clear. Okay, now one more thing. For some students, it might be overwhelming to look at two questions simultaneously, but only for this particular thing, it can save your time. But if you think it is not a cup of tea, so you can skip it and just focus on first set only. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you like this so that you, if you want to practice it later, you will be able to do so. Okay, but scientific studies, so scientific studies, these are the two same words. So for here I will also mark my answer here. Okay, what I will do is I will do this so that you can easily recognize it later. Okay, but scientific studies suggest that procrastination is actually due to poor mood management. So here is our poor mood management, another keyword. Just 1 second, guys. Which one is this I chose? I forgot. Okay, so poor mood management. Okay, so next question. The task we are most likely to put off are those that could damage our self-esteem. Again, this is our location, or cause us to feel dash when we think about them. So wherever self-esteem, confidence, something like that is written, we will see then. So we'll move forward. Okay, so one more thing, after marking B option here, do not just skip the paragraph entirely. Reason being because you may use any letter more than one, so may or may not be and one more answer in this paragraph, so, or there is any blank in this paragraph, so we will continue reading. This makes sense if we consider that people are more likely to put off starting or completing tasks that they are really not keen to do. If just thinking about tasks threatens our sense of self-worth or makes us anxious, we will be more likely to put it off. Research involving brain imaging has found that areas of the brain linked to detection of threats and emotion regulation are actually different in people who chronically procrastinate compared to those who don't procrastinate frequently. So here is some comparison. I'll come to you later. But if you look at this particular sentence, okay, can you tell me, okay, sorry about that. If you look at this particular sentence, can you tell me if there is any answer of this? And if yes, why that will be the answer? I'll give you a few seconds to tell me the answer. And if you're still not able to find it, you can pause the video and then resume. I'm going to tell you the answer without wasting too much time. The answer is question number 16. So for this, our answer should be question number 16. So for question number 16, our answer will also be B. But why it should be B? Like I have told you, neurological evidence basically refers to something related to brain or something like that, and it shows the link between procrastination and emotion. So found the brain link to detection to threats, emotion regulation. Okay, just tell, let me, okay, so emotion regulation, so here is something about emotion and here is something about procrastination. So and there is research evidence involving brain imaging, neurological evidence. Threats and emotions are our emotions, obviously, and procrastination is here, chronically procrastinate. So that's why this is our B answer. Hope it is clear. Now, if I talk about this blank, self-esteem, can you find the synonym for self-esteem here? Yes, here the synonym of self-esteem is written as self-worth. And what should be the answer then if self-esteem and self-worth are synonym of each other or paraphrasing of each other? Okay, I'm gonna give you few seconds more. Yes, the answer to this will be anxious. So this is our word that we are looking for. So this is our word that we were looking for, and this is our answer to question number 18. I hope it is clear. If you have any doubts, you can rewatch this particular question so that it can be clear to you. So what we'll do is now we will read the 19th question. Okay, let me do this. Okay. Research comparing chronic procrastinators with other people even found differences in their brain regions associating with regulating emotions and identifying something. So we are talking about research of chronic procrastinators. So chronic procrastinators chronically procrastinate. Okay, so these are the keywords of second 19th question also. So we have to read it again. Research comparing chronic procrastinators with other people. So other people, those who don't procrastinate. So chronically procrastinate compares to those who do not procrastinate frequently. This is again the answer to this particular location. Words to this particular location. So in the brain regions associated with regulating emotions and identifying. So you have to regulate emotions. So for regulate emotion, it is written emotion regulation. Let me bold it here also. So they have written emotion regulation. So it is regulating emotion and identifying. So what should be the answer? Yes, can you tell me? I'll give you a few more seconds. Yes, the answer to this should be threats. So if you look here, emotion regulation and and for identifying the synonym is given as detection. So for because of that, our answer would be threats. This is question number 19. So that's why I told you for this particular type of question, when you're doing this, it is advisable that you can read it, but if you find it overwhelming, but let's just say if there were more questions than three and you don't think so, you can do like this, just focus on these three questions. Now we just have only one question left because for these two questions B was our answer. Okay, and for this we have only three questions. Emotionally loaded and difficult tasks often cause us to procrastinate. So we have to find the location. Sorry about that. Emotionally loaded and getting ready to take dash might be typical example of one such task. So getting ready to take something. So we are getting ready to take on something. Getting ready to take. Okay, we are not taking on, just we are taking something. We are taking something that is typical example of this. Okay, let's move to C paragraph. Let's read the question. Reference to the realization. Others also procrastinate. Let's see if it is written here or not. tasks that are emotionally loaded. Okay, so we have found out that the blank should be here because here it is written tasks that are let me see, tasks that are emotionally loaded. So here, sorry about that, so here it is also emotionally loaded is written, and difficult tasks often cause us to procrastinate, or difficult such as preparing for exams are prime candidates for procrastination. So now from here to here should be our answer, is our answer. Can you tell me the answer? I'll wait for a few seconds, then I will write the answer here. Yes, our answer is exams, because they are asking for one example. So here it is written such as preparing for exams. Preparing for exams, getting ready to take on. So we are getting ready to give exams. So exams is our answer. I hope it is clear. Let me mark it. Question number 20th. Moving on for ahead. People who are likely to procrastinate tend to be either dash or those with low self-esteem. So there will be two types of people given. One type of people is people who have low self-esteem, meaning to say low self-confidence, and we have to find either dash. So maybe high self-esteem, something like that. But remember, we have to write just one word, so we cannot write two words. Okay, let's read this question again. Reference to realization, others also procrastinate. Let's see if it is written here or not. People with low self-esteem. Okay, here it is written low self-esteem. People with low self-esteem are more likely to procrastinate. Another group. So another group is either or. Either or. Another group of people who tend to procrastinate are perfectionists who worry their work will be judged harshly by others. So what should be the answer here? It's quite simple. I must say here. Yes, the answer is perfectionists. Just a second, guys. So this is our answer. So I hope everybody gets it. It's quite easy. Moving forward to the last, procrastination is only a short-term measure for managing emotions. It's often followed by a feeling of. So they are saying that procrastination is only short-term method, short-term measure, short-term solution. So it is often followed by a feeling of anger because you are angry on yourself, something like that. It's something about emotion. Okay, let us mark some keywords. Short term, only for like few time or few minutes, few hours, few days, something like that, to manage your emotion. Managing emotion, manage emotions, and followed by feeling of some feeling. Okay, we have to find what feeling is this. Who are, okay, we know that if we don't finish that report or complete those home repairs, then what we did can't be evaluated. When we avoid such tasks, we also avoid the negative emotions associated with them. This is rewarding. Okay, and its conditions us to use procrastination to repair our mood. So when you don't do that particular work that you were supposed to do, for some time you feel good because you are not being judged. So if you haven't done something, how can you be judged? Obviously, so it's sort of rewarding. So you feel happy that nobody is judging you, nobody is telling your mistakes to you. Okay, some pinpointing your mistakes, something like that. But and its conditions us, basically it make us like habitual of it to use procrastination to repair our mood. If we engage in more enjoyable tasks instead, we get another mood boost. In the long run, however, procrastination isn't an effective way of managing emotions. So short term, so here opposite is written, but it has the same sense. In the long run, it isn't effective, so it is only effective in short term. Basically, it is not effective in long term. So managing emotion. So these are our keywords again. So the mood repair we experience is temporary. Afterwards meaning to say followed by. People tend to be left with the sense of guilt that not only increases their negative mood but also reinforces their tendency to procrastinate. So what should be our answer? It's quite easy. I will give you just 2 or 3 seconds. Yes, our answer to this should be guilt. I hope it is clear. Any doubts? Let me mark it here, the answer. Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to see if there is 15th reference to the realization that others also procrastinate. So there is nothing about that. People realize that other procrastinate. So cannot be our answer. C paragraph. So there was no comparison between employees also or getting out of procrastination. So now we read D paragraph. Why is this such a problem? When most people think of the cost of procrastination, they think of the toll on productivity. For example, studies have shown that procrastination negatively impacts on students' performance, not employees. It's about students, so we don't have to worry about that. Putting off reading textbooks and writing essays may affect other areas of students' lives. In one study of over 3,000 German students over a 6-month period, those who reported procrastinating over their university work were also more likely to engage in study related misconduct such as cheating and plagiarism. But the behavior that procrastination was most closely linked with was using fraudulent excuses to get deadline extensions. Other research shows that employees on average spend almost here something about employees. So let me do this. So here we are now talking about employees. So here is employees. So I'll read the question now. Which two comparisons between employees who often procrastinate and those who don't are mentioned in the text? So we are having we have to find about the comparisons. First, their salaries are lower. So people who procrastinate, their salaries are lower. The quality of their work is inferior. So I'll just mark the keywords. Lower salaries, work is inferior, quality of work is inferior, don't keep jobs for long, don't enjoy working lives as much. So obviously there is comparison. They have poorer relationship with colleagues. So let's see if something is mentioned here. So we have to mark two options. So this is very important. So we have to write two answers, mark two answers. On average spend almost a quarter of their workday procrastinating, and again this is linked with negative outcomes. In fact, in one US survey of over 22,000 employees, participants who said they regularly procrastinated had less annual income and less employment stability. Okay, luckily those two options are written together. Now our answer is in this. It's your job to find the answer now. Can you find the answer? I will give you just that amount of time that I need to write here. Question 23, 24. Yes, the answer to these questions are A. Their salaries are lower. Yes, less annual income. So this is your answer. I'll mark it in green. And second is they are saying less employment stability, and that just means they do not keep their jobs for long enough. So A and C, these two were our answer. I hope it is clear. Moving forward, for every 1 point increase on measure of chronic procrastination, annual income decreased by 15,000 US dollars. So 15th question, reference to the realization that others also procrastinate. So there is comparison between those who procrastinate and those who don't, but there is no mention of realization that others also do this, so it's not a big deal. Okay, something like that. There is nothing written like this. So what we'll do is we will read the E paragraph and we have to find out 25, 26 recommendations. Let's see if something is written in here or not. Okay, procrastination also correlates with serious health and well-being problems. So it is related to health and well-being problems also. A tendency to procrastinate is linked to poor mental health, including higher levels of depression and anxiety. Also, numerous studies I have found people who regularly procrastinate report a greater number of health issues such as headaches, flu, and colds, digestive issues. They also experience higher levels of stress and poor sleep quality. So these are all the problems people face who procrastinate. They are less likely to practice healthy behaviors such as eating a healthy diet and regularly exercising, and use destructive coping strategies to manage their stress. In one study of over 700 people, I found people who prone to procrastination had a 63% greater risk of poor heart health after accounting for other personality traits and demographics. So there is nothing, recommendation is not given, like solution is not given how to break this habit, and there is no mention about the realization of other people procrastinate. So we'll read the last paragraph. So obviously if we are sure that there is no answer in above 5 paragraphs, so for this F should be our answer, but just now, okay, let me write F here first. Just 1 second guys, I believe, yeah, this is the color. Why it was, this is the color. Okay, so F is the answer, but we still have to find out because we are practicing. Okay, and if you are 100% sure that in exam that if from A to E there is no mention of that, you can just write F, but it doesn't matter because we still have to find these two questions 25 and 26. So we will have to read the F paragraph. So we're gonna read it. Finding better ways of managing our emotions is one route out of the vicious cycle of procrastination. So obviously this will be our location because here the writer is telling how to break the cycle of procrastination. An important first step is to manage our environment and how we view the task. First, we will read them all the 5 options so that we can make it clear in our head what kind of information we need to find. First option, not judging ourselves harshly. So first option is saying that uh, we should not judge ourselves harshly, like we should not be too critical of ourselves because it's not that a big of a deal, I believe. Second option, setting ourselves manageable aims. So we have to set manageable aims. Rewarding ourselves for tasks, we have to reward for achievement. Prioritizing tasks according to their importance, we have to prioritize tasks according to their importance. Avoiding things that stop us concentrating on our tasks, we have to avoid things that stop us concentrating on our tasks. Let's see what recommendations are given. There, an important first step is to manage our environment and how we view the task. Nothing about that. There are there are a number of evidence-based strategies that can help us fend off distractions that can occupy our minds when we should be focusing on the thing we should be getting on. For example, reminding ourselves about why the task is important. Okay, here what we have been saying that, and okay, I will give you just a few seconds to tell me. But before, let us read the paragraph up until here completely, so that we can know what we are gonna deal with. For example, reminding ourselves about why the task is important and valuable can increase. Sorry, reminding ourselves about why the task is important and valuable can increase positive feeling towards it. Forgiving ourselves and feeling compassion when we procrastinate can help break the procrastination cycle. We should admit that we feel bad, but not be overly critical of ourselves. We should remind ourselves that we are not the first person to procrastinate, nor the last. Doing this can take the edge of the negative feelings that we have about ourselves. When we procrastinate, this can all make it easier to get back on track. So now, can you tell me the answer? Sorry about that. Can you tell me the answers? You should try to find the answers. I'm just gonna take a water break. Just give me a few seconds, guys. I'm gonna drink some water. Okay, sorry for that break. So now, have you come up with the answers? Yes. So our two answers are. Let me mark those first. We have done green. Okay, I'll mark them in green. Yes, one is not judging ourselves harshly. So why it is not? Just 1 second. If that can be made green, why it is not made green? Okay, I don't know what's happening. Okay, so first, not judging ourselves harshly. Sorry about that. Where it is written here? Yes, here it is written. Let me change the color again so that it matches the same. Here it is written where it was, but not be over critical of ourselves. So we should not be overly critical of ourselves. We should not be like be too negative about ourselves, that whatever we are trying to do, we should not be that negative. We should admit we feel bad, but we should not be too negative about that. 25, 26 question number. So this is our A option. Let me write it also. Yes, and B option, will do option wise. Setting ourselves manageable aims. There is nothing about the aims that are manageable. Okay, see, rewarding ourselves for the task achieved. There is nothing about giving yourself rewards. Let's see, there are a number of evidence-based strategies that can help us find a distraction that compromise when we should be focusing on the things we should be getting on with. So there is nothing about rewarding yourself, prioritizing tasks according to their importance. So here it can seems like we have to some students that reminding ourselves about why task is important and valuable can increase positive feelings towards it, but we are not prioritizing tasks according to their importance. We are just reminding ourselves that whatever we are doing or that whatever we are supposed to do is important. Okay, so we should be concentrating on it, not on other things. So we are not saying, okay, these tasks are not important and these tasks are more important, so we should be focusing on these first, and then those tasks which are not that important we can deal with them later. So there is nothing about that. So this cannot be our answer. E option, so obviously the remaining one will be our answer. E. Why here? Remind this same thing that made us that option incorrect. This option is being correct because of that. Here, because of that, we are writing E, and reminding ourselves why the task is important and valuable can increase. So we have to stop concentrating on things that are distracting us, and we should start concentrating on tasks that are important to us. Okay, let me copy here. So this option is E. I hope it is clear. Now only one question is remaining, and that is 15th. So we have written F already, but can you tell me where it is written? Sorry about that. Okay, can you tell me where it is written? Realization that other people's also procrastinate. I'll give you one or two, 3 or 4 seconds. Yes, here it is. We should remind ourselves that we are not the first person to procrastinate nor the last. So simply we are realizing that this is not our only we are not the only people facing this problem. There are other people who face this problem. Hope it is clear. So this is how you can do this, and again I'm gonna tell you the same thing. If you feel that doing 2 sets like this, or maybe the third set also, third and fourth set also, may doing sets like this is bit overwhelming for you, you do not have to do like that. Just focus on all the paragraphs and these questions first, and then go to these. Or what you can do is you can do these questions later on. You can focus on first blanks, do blanks first and do these questions first. What will happen after then, if you do blanks and these questions first, is that you will have read roughly all the paragraphs, or maybe last paragraph maybe may not have been read by you, or maybe you have read all the paragraphs, and then you will get some idea how where the location of these words were. So you will be easily able to locate the answer then also. So there are two ways to do that. You can do this first and you can do these after later on, or you can do these first, these questions first, and then you can do these. So it's up to you how you feel comfortable, how you feel confident in this. So it will help you in your exam. Practice that particular skill of yours, so that in exam when you are doing your reading, you don't have to worry about anything else. So Again, if you want our help, I'm gonna leave the link to our website in the description box. You can go to our website and contact us there. You can enroll in our course, which has helped numerous students, countless students, to get band 7 or more in their writing and speaking, or even in your reading or listening. If you're not getting your desired band scores, you can contact us. In this course we have discussed all the 4 modules in depth, in detail, why you are stuck at one particular band score in your writing and your speaking, and how to solve different kind of questions of readings. uh, it is quite practical, this course. It will help you to understand your weaknesses, what kind of mistakes you may be making, that you may not be aware of, and even if you are aware of, how to eliminate them, how to rectify them, and get that all elusive band 7 or more. So that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.